Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Yugioh Relook card design, where I will take any card from Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG and or OGG and have a look at its effects, examine whether or not the card effect is either good or bad, then see what I will do to errata the card effects to make it more playable in today's format. In this special episode, I'll be looking at another card that came out in the Invasion of Chaos, called Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End. This card was one of the best cards in the game, and to some, he needs no introduction. He is a level 8 Dark Dragon type monster with 3000 attack and 2500 defense. He was one of the first cards in the game that was hit on the very first Forbidden list, arguably the sole reason why we have a Forbidden list in Yu-Gi-Oh! So what does the Emperor Dragon of Chaos do? Cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summoned from your hand by banishing one light and one dark monster from your graveyard. Once per turn you can pay 1000 light points. Send as many cards in both players' hands and on the field as possible to the graveyard. Then inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card sent to your opponent's graveyard by this effect. You cannot activate other cards or effects during the turn you activate this card's effects. Back in the day, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a slower card game, and gaining resources was hard outside of the draw phase. Cards like Pot of Greed and Aggressive Vitality helped, but they were limited at the time. So Chaos Emperor Dragon's effects and make both players go to a top deck war was really strong. But I don't think that was the reason why he was so powerful. There's a clue in his name. Quite frankly, he was made to end games by himself, by the fact that he deals 300 life points damage to your opponent for each card they have that was sent to the graveyard. Old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Can take several turns before a winner is decided, which is plenty of time for you to whittle your opponent's life points down to burn your opponent for game. Even if Emperor Dragon does not end them, the fact your opponent loses life points will put them at a disadvantage. You need to have a light and a dark monster in the graveyard to summon Chaos Emperor, but getting them in the graveyard is faster than you think. When Chaos Emperor Dragon was at his peak, we had Thunder Dragon to fill up the graveyard with lights, and Sanguine and Witch are great to thin out the deck. In today's game, he can easily be searched out from the deck and set up the graveyard at the same time, with Chaos Base and the Melody of the Awakening Dragon, as he meets both cards' criteria. Honestly, if he didn't, I would send someone from Konami into the Chaos Base to make sure that he does. There are a few downsides to Chaos Emperor Dragon, one of which that he can only be summoned from the hand, which is a shame because the other two Chaos monsters that came out in the same pack, Black Lotus Soldier Envoy in the beginning and Chaos Sorcerer, does not have the same restriction. Another downside is that you have to pay 1000 life points to activate Chaos Emperor's effects, but using this effect for free would be unfair, even though that you are giving up all your cards in your hand and on the field, including Chaos Emperor, to do the same thing to your opponent. The last downside is that you cannot use any other card effects during the same turn you activate Chaos Emperor's effects, which means that if you did search him from Melody or Chaos Base, you can summon him, but you can't use his effects to nuke everything. And if you do use his effects, any cards sent to your graveyard would not be able to trigger. To bring Chaos Emperor Dragon back to its glory days, I would errata his effects in this. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing one light and one dark monster from your graveyard. You can pay 1000 light points. Send all cards in both players' hands and on the field to the graveyard. Then inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card is sent to the graveyard by this effect. The first change is to enable Chaos Emperor Dragon to be summoned from the graveyard or banished after you properly summoned him, making him like the other two Chaos monsters. The second change is to inflict burn damage to your opponent for each card that is sent to any graveyard, making it easier for Chaos Emperor Dragon to kill your opponent. And the last change is to get rid of that stupid restriction that makes it so that you cannot activate any other cards or effects during the same turn you activate Chaos Emperor's effects, which means that you can search Chaos Emperor Dragon and use his effects on the same turn. Surely nothing bad will ever come from this, and this will make Chaos Emperor Dragon be the Envoy of the End once again. But what do you think about this card? Do you like its original effects, or my take on effects, or do you have a better effect in mind? I would like to hear it down in the comments below, and also if you got any card you want me to cover, just post them in the comments and I'll see what I can do. As well as if you like this episode and you'd like to see more, please leave a like and subscribe for more mini favorite videos. Until next time, happy April Fools everyone.